Welcome to the Cherry Picker After Dark, the Patreon exclusive version of the horror movie podcast where we like to kill people, but not really. I'm your host, Zack Cherry. With me as always is...
They remade my belly with skin from my butt. Eddie of Edward is Truth.
And today we're talking about Drop Dead Gorgeous, released July 23rd, 1999. This is the 25th anniversary. Today, depending on when you're watching it. I know, right? And we're continuing the trend of just doing wild cult movies for the Cherry Picker After Dark. With death, that's the thing. It's like, as long as there's death or murder, that's the theme. Like, you know, we did Jawbreaker, we did Wild Things, we had Cruel Intentions, which, I mean, there's a death, but I mean it's not like murder, but what was it?
It's ridiculous though. It's campy.
Mommy Dearest. Well, who was murdered in Mommy Dearest?
Faye Dunaway's career. I say that with love and affection because she lives on in all of our hearts and our spirits, and we want her to. She's just in my head.
And Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, which was last month, which lots of murder in that. So I mean, can we really say this is horror adjacent? I don't know, but we're doing it, and
it's camp with murder, so it's close.
Well,
enough.
let's just say this. I mean, this has all the stars in it, like all the people that I would associate with that period of time that this came out in the late 90s. So like Denise Richards, for instance, who, I mean, every time I think of Denise Richards, I mean, I think of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but I think of Valentine.
Of course, yes.
Brittany Murphy. She was in that Thriller, that one with Michael Douglas. Don't say a word.
I didn't even see that one. Okay. Never saw it. Kirsten Dunst, Interview with a Vampire, her big break.
Yeah, that was
horror adjacent.
94.
Queer mentality.
Though,
we like that.
Because I don't think she ever did a horror after Interview. Her career.
She did. I feel like she did one, like the way everybody does. Like Renee Zellweger did like one, but like nobody talks about it anymore. I feel like she did one that like everybody forgot about, and nobody. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, DMs. It worked last night.
Amy Adams, like she's got to have something in there, like one of the lesser known like straight to video things. I'm pretty sure there was one.
I mean, she again, like kind of like campy murder. She did Psycho Beach Party, the movie. She did Marvel Ann in that. That's the first time I ever noticed her in something where I was like, "Oh, your name is Amy Adams. I'm going to keep track of you from now on."
That's fair.
She still looked like Marsha Brady.
Back in the day. Did that come out? That came out after this.
Psycho Beach Party, I think, was same year, actually. I think it was released, at least, I think, in 1999, if not 2000. Maybe you're 2000, right. Maybe that was a year after this. But I don't know. Shooting-wise, who's to say? You know, she was working, though. And then the next year after that, I think, is when she did Smallville. And she wore a fat suit and played a girl who got thin but devoured people.
I never watched Smallville.
Oh, you should. Yeah. It's like, I think I said before in our Buffy breakdowns, like it's kind of Buffy-esque, but you know, for a boy, so it's a little less internal. But I don't know. It's still there's still some really
are men don't. But don't they like internalize everything? So wouldn't it be more internal?
Well, they manifest it in external fights. Like I feel like Buffy always had both. She juggled her internal conflict with her external. Clark is a little bit more like what you see is what you get. He doesn't hide things very well. Okay. But I mean, Buffy didn't either, but she walked away.
Yeah. Anyway. One day I'll check it out. I mean, I'm not repelled by it or anything. Like I do have interest, but it's not a priority.
Yeah. There's a lot of actors you like on it too who do guest star spots and stuff. So.
Yeah, and Michael Rosenbaum is a lead.
So good. He's Lex Luthor. Yeah. He's so good.
Is that how Luthor? You know Luther? It's
I like to say Luthor because it's the O. Otherwise, so many people spell it when they misspell it with an E. It just chafes my.
Yeah. All right. Well. Well, here we are with Drop Dead Gorgeous, and I mean, this is, I mean, we've maybe spoken about it a few times, but obviously we both love it. But this is the first time I really get to kind of dig into it with you and discuss it on a podcast level, because this is probably what I consider to be the funniest movie of all time. And
oh my God,
it was such a weird, like, I guess it's not really a weird coincidence of just like how I discovered it, because I would, at the time, like what was like 1999, like 13, 14, I would just randomly get things from the video store. And this movie, I remember it like being advertised in the video stores would have like little magazines to show like coming attractions of what was being released on VHS or DVD at the time.
Yeah.
And there was this one, and it might have even been in like the movie theater magazine when they used to have magazines there as well. Yeah. And this was advertised as a movie called Dairy Queens, which I guess was the original title of the movie.
I like Drop Dead Gorgeous more.
Oh, absolutely. Drop Dead Gorgeous is the correct title for the movie, but it was Dairy Queens for the longest time. And I remember seeing that like advert for it and just being like Dairy Queens and just being like, oh, does this have something to do with the restaurant? But there was like it was clearly a beauty pageant thing, but I didn't really know anything beyond that, because I don't think that, you know, back in the day they didn't really they weren't specific with what it was, so they wouldn't have been like, this is a comedy that's like a mockumentary and it's about murder or anything. It's just like, this is about beauty pageants. And I was just like, huh, okay. And I like clocked it internally, and then when it was released on VHS, because I didn't see it in the theater, and I don't imagine that it had like a big theatrical run either. This is one of those movies that's kind of like found its life on physical media afterwards, or
100%.
Streaming wherever you can watch it. And I remember seeing the title and seeing Drop Dead Gorgeous, but seeing like the picture and being like, oh, well, this was because it was like Kirsten Dunst. And I was like, but that was that other movie called Dairy Queens. And because me at the time didn't realize that that's a concept, that movies have names and then they change the names. But I ended up renting it from the store. And I've never done this. Well, I have in the past, when I was younger, and I would watch Batman Forever on a Saturday morning, and then like watch all the way through, and then rewind it, and then watch it again.
I remember those days.
Specifically Batman Forever. But I rented this, and like I think my parents were like out for the evening, so I was just at home on like a Friday or Saturday, and watched the movie all the way through, rewound it, and immediately watched it again, because you only get those rentals for not even 24 hours. You have to return them the next day. I'm just like, I need to watch this again immediately. This is the best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think I had that one memorable one was Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, for me, the rental, and it was like a 2-day rental, and it was a new thing, and I didn't see it in the theaters, and then I rented it on like a stack of other things so it wouldn't be sus, because I was still a closeted youth. And I remember putting it in and watching it, and I was just kind of like, oh my God, I don't even know. This is just so easy. It's like eating cotton candy but never getting sick. And after it was over, I just wanted to play it all over again. There were other movies that were like that for me. I remember My Best Friend's Wedding was a big one that I could just watch on a loop.
Oh, really?
I don't know why.
I've seen it.
Yeah, I can't anymore.
I've seen it, but I don't... Like, that's never a movie that I've been like, oh my God, I have to watch that again. Although I could be tempted, because I did meet Dermot Mulroney in person at the Calgary Expo. Just such a lovely person. I'm obsessed with him. Yeah, and he had his whole career out on the table, and just like all like there's, I guess he did a movie with Dylan McDermott, and there's a photo of like the two of them together, which I thought was hilarious, because it's like he's in on the joke. He knows that people mix their names.
McDermott.
Yeah, Dermot McDermott. And yeah, we we had some really good discussions, like multiple days, because I was there all weekend and kept chatting with him, and just like he would talk about his career. And I mean, like, I don't really remember My Best Friend's Wedding, other than the fact that he's like the love interest, or like I guess not the love interest because of the premise.
The would-be love interest. He's the objet désir is what he is. The object of her Julia Roberts' desire, and Cameron Diaz's objet désir. But he it's just kind of like, this is the thing. Flawed script, perfect movie somehow. Like the dynamics of a rom-com are often, you know, I don't want to say problematic, but that you can use that word, but oftentimes they just don't jive in the real world. You have to kind of go, okay. But anyway, that was one. With this movie, okay. To my shame, and I do feel shame about this now. At the time of its release, I remember seeing things for it, mostly commercials more so than trailers. But and maybe even like little commercials, and I mean commercials like 30-second bits on VHS when I would rent them, and I'd see it ahead of time and be like, oh, that movie. And while it looked funny, there was something about people of my very specific generation, because I was, you know, teenagery into adulthood around this time. And I had kind of turned my back on Kirsten Dunst. A lot of people that I went to school with, because we were all, you know, drama geeks, a lot of us we all agreed that she showed such promise in Interview with a Vampire. And then she just didn't bring it the way she did in any of her subsequent movies. And we had this kind of communal attitude toward her. Leonardo DiCaprio was the same. We all thought, What's Eating Gilbert Grape? Top-notch performance. Show me something else. And every time we do it, it's like, I just don't believe him. You know, and it was so... We need to get over ourselves. Like, I think we have subsequently. I certainly have. Especially, and with both of them, actually. With Leo, like... I did need to see him in more stuff. The more I saw him and stuff, the more I'm just kind of, and now I'm just kind of like, Great Gatsby, awesome, his performance, not the movie, but the Scorsese Departed one, I was just like, fuck yeah, Kirsten Dunst, my god, like I remember she broke my fucking heart in Mona Lisa's Smile when she's riding the bike,
never
and when
seen it.
And before that when. That was such a big response.
That was a huge response. Look, you said that she didn't...
She made me cry twice in a row.
You cried during the Faye Dunaway movie. Look.
I did. Okay, but you
said that she didn't... No, I don't get HBO Max. But you said she didn't...
Oh!
You said she didn't bring it. She doesn't bring it on. Come on. That is like the defining role of her career. I don't care what anyone says.
Everybody brought it in that movie.
She probably wouldn't.
I'm gonna make you proud. I'm Tata Torrance.
Look, she would.
You're Captain Torrance.
I bet you she would not dispute that. But I feel like at that point in her, because I didn't, like, you know, I'm not substantially younger than you. I mean, I guess you're Gen X.
I'm like on the cusp of Gen X and whatever follows.
Same, whatever you got, people are called millennials.
Exactly.
No, like I
not. I'm cuspy.
Yeah, I feel like I'm like,
and you are too.
Same, I'd be on the other side of it. But I didn't really. I wasn't familiar with Kirsten Dunst until like around this time. I forget what she did right before this movie. Jumanji, wasn't she in that?
Yeah, she did Jumanji.
Yeah.
She did a few things. And the thing is, like, if I went back and watched her, I'd probably just be delighted and think. The problem is, it was like she set the bar really, really high because it is a tremendous performance. She is a little adult inside the body of a girl, especially as Interview with a Vampire progresses. She is she's, for me, kind of the reason to watch the movie. Aside from, you know, like, no pain. From Antonio Banderas, which always makes me laugh. But in this, because I think I remember watching it kind of like, you know, side-eyeing and everything like that, just, you know, stirring a cookie in my milk and just going, whatever. But because it was on cable all the time. It did not recoup its investment at the box office. I know that for sure. I don't remember the numbers. But it didn't do well. It flopped. But then it just... In addition to the rentals, I think they just screened it on cable all the time. So I'd have it on every now and then. Realized screening it for this particular pod, how well I know not the entire movie, but pockets of it. I'm like, oh yeah, I fucking remember that. Yeah. I fucking remember.
Well, that. It's I'm just looking here. Budget was $15 million. It made 10.5 at the box office. But I mean, I imagine that it probably, like, especially with its cult status, like, it's made its money back in terms of like sales.
Well. Okay, this is the thing. We usually get into this somewhere in here. I never know how we do it with the After Darks because it's always a crapshoot. But I looked up the media because also I wanted to stream it for this. Yeah. I couldn't find it anywhere. It is not on YouTube. Not burned as a bootleg or just for rental, for proper rental. It's not on Redbox. It's if you go on IMDb, there is a link to see if it's rentable on Amazon, and it is not rentable there, or at least I couldn't. It's not on Apple TV Plus. It's not on any of all the places I usually go. The usual suspects don't have it. It's not. It was. I found an article actually. I screenshot it. I won't read the whole thing to you, but the headline was "Drop Dead Gorgeous." This is from July 5th, 2019. Drop Dead Gorgeous, which is finally streaming, is possibly my favorite movie of all time by Gia Tolentino. And basically it talks about how it was problematic, kind of fell by the wayside, but it was a flop to a venerated artifact of Y2K era camp.
Is it problematic or is it satire? Because, well, I mean, I know the answer to that, but I'm already disregarding that article because
Well, no, but not citing it as problematic and giving it that label, but stating that the label has been put on it. There are a lot of people who would take issue with it, which is probably why it was posted on Hulu 5 years ago, and at some point it was stripped down. It's no longer available there, and it's available still in its little. You can find it Warner Brothers DVD, the little purple case with the
pink.
A foldable open thing. Oh, it was pink?
Yes.
I thought maybe I shelved it all the time. I thought we had purple in my Suncoast. Maybe you had a different cover than
maybe. Well, yeah, I've got the DVD, and I don't usually watch DVDs. Like I have several hundred of them, but if I can if I can find it streaming and like higher resolution, I will do that. And I could not find it anywhere. I could have ordered it off of Amazon. It was like, I don't remember, like maybe like $20 or $30, but I just figured, I have the movie. It's my TV upscales. It's good enough.
Well, there is a Blu-ray. The Warner Archive Collection released a Blu-ray in 2019, so that I luckily we have a Google box, so I just streamed it from that. Thank you for putting it there. But and I got to watch it like 3 times. But because I just want, and I still feel like I haven't seen it enough. No, I do have it in my list though, because on eBay I found it for about $23, and I want to see.
I'm just like trying to look at your like what you have behind you, and just judge you for like you have that, but not.
I can defend any of my choices. Feel free.
I'm not. We don't have time for that.
But anyway, no. So there's a Warner Archival Collection, which actually I checked on Blu-ray.com. It did get reviewed. Its picture, its video, got a 5-star rating. Blu-rays never get 5-star ratings for their picture. The thing is, its overall rating dipped significantly because the only special features it offers are a trailer.
I mean, like the Warner Archive. Like anytime I see something like that, I know like, oh, this is bare bones crap. And that's why I didn't buy it, because I just like, I'll wait for like a boutique label to distribute an actual collector's edition of this. Yeah, like something fun that actually pays respect to such a cult classic movie. But speaking of just the actually we're jumping around here. Let's do a premise, but before we do a premise, I want to do the usual housekeeping. So hi, welcome to the Cherry Picker. If you are new to our podcast and you're enjoying what you are seeing or listening to, why don't you head over to my Patreon, Zack Cherry, ZACKCHERRY. You can support us on any tier, and you'll get early access to all of our episodes. For this episode, if you are subscribed at the Freddy Krueger tier, you'll get access to this plus all of our other Cherry Picker After Darks. So yes, if you have been enjoying us, it's a great way to give back. And I do want to shout out my top tier supporters. I had to pull up the screen here.
I got my clappers ready.
Good. So to my Michael Myers, Kyle Beard, Sam Levy, Ali Hamouche, Shane Allingham, Tim McKay, Stephanie Starbright, Horror Slut 95, Bruce the Genetic Jackhammer Rando, Josh Carr, Michael Boswell, Brandy Beebe, and then the Ghostface tier subscribers, Eric Champney, Daniel Saturn, Baby Ghoul, Garrison Nichols. Thank you very much to all of you. Thank you to all Patreon subscribers. Appreciate you guys. Did we talk about what we're doing next month?
Did we?
We did, but we're gonna do, because we talked about James Bond. We're gonna.
Oh right, yeah.
We're gonna watch all the movies.
Oh, and we're doing. Oh, so we're doing that for next month?
Okay. Yeah. And then we're gonna.
I didn't remember that was for next month.
Oh, was it not? Okay. Well, now we gotta.
No, I didn't say it's not. I don't remember us nailing it down, going like, "All right, August will be Bond month," so we'll do it. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm down.
we're like just. We're like, I thought this was a horror podcast.
But there were requests.
There were requests. We like to, and it's the After Dark. We like to honor the Patreon requests.
The voices of the people.
The voices of the people who are paying, who are putting dinner on our tables and food in our bellies. But
we're gonna for your hard-earned money.
Yeah, we're gonna watch them all, and we're gonna rank them individually because we don't do the.
We will never agree.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, what's Drop Dead Gorgeous about? 26 minutes in.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, we said murder. I don't think we really spoiled anything, but okay. Also, I'm gonna do it Minnesotan. I haven't quite found it. You have to find it in the right vocal register. I don't know how high to go or how maybe up here. I don't know. I'll try. Okay. Hey there. When the annual beauty pageant in a small Minnesotan town gets covered by a film crew, falling lights, explosions, and trailer fires prove that former Mount Rolls Miss American teen princess Gladys Lehman will stop at nothing to secure her daughter Vicky Lehman's top spot, especially over sweet, determined Amber Atkins to win the crown as the most drop-dead gorgeous. I don't know how to say gorgeous. Drop-dead gorgeous.
You did. That was gorgeous. No, you did get there.
You just got an upswing there.
Yeah.
Oh, and now I'm starting to be Irish.
Yeah.
Oh, you could go under the phrase and up.
Oh gosh, I don't know how you do it.
Neither do I, and I'm not doing it at all. Like, apologies to any Minnesotans listening.
Minnesotans.
I'm trying. I had very limited time to practice, so I tried.
Very impressed.
Thank you.
This movie has an amazing cast, as already mentioned.
God.
And it's like, I watch it, and it's like, I mean, I remember everyone who's in it, but then, I try to think like, who's my favorite? Which performance is my favorite, or which like moment or whatever? And it's like they're all amazing. Like I couldn't, one from the next. It's incredible. I mean, and obviously they're dropping like flies in real life because we just lost Kirstie Alley 2 years ago. Brittany Murphy, obviously like 15 years ago. To like mold or something. Do you know the story of that?
I actually heard to mention another podcast. Danielle Harris was really, really tight with her. And many episodes ago, I heard, because I'm catching up on my.
What is it called?
Scout Taylor Compton. It's Talk Scary to Me.
Okay.
their podcast. And Danielle Harris, at one point in their pod, like really went in deep on like, you know, her friendship with Brittany Murphy and about like how she was around, you know, kind of like seeing her slowly kind of like her health deteriorate and everything like that. And she was worried about her, but she kind of lost touch with her. And she said, but before she was like the warmest, sweetest person. Basically kind of everything you'd assume is kind of what happened, like in a very vague way, you know, like, but I just, so I don't know any of this. They're not fresh in my head. I didn't prep on.
No, because I had read something Brittany that Murphy. She had moved into a house with her husband, and it was like allegedly like it was never like proven that it was like the mold, because then her husband died like 6 months later or something, and the families like tried to like file a wrongful death suit, and I guess it just like they weren't able to swing it. So it's kind of like been this like looming question mark of like what had actually happened to her or her health. But she was like at the time like the top of her career. Like she was just so like everyone like and she was one of those faces that like even your grandma would know. They'd be like, oh, I like her, you know, like she's in like the Dakota Fanning movie and all, what was it called?
Uptown Girls,
Sin City.
I remember that.
Like,
and she found our way into most of our hearts with Clueless as Ty, and with one of the most famous lines from that movie, and that's saying something considering, talk about great lines from this movie. Yeah. Clueless is another contender from the 90s with great lines, but hers was, you're a virgin who can't drive. Bitchy expression. I love it. Live for it. But,
she was in Girl Interrupted as well.
Oh my, okay. I'm glad you brought it up because, I'm not going to, if you haven't seen it, because, you know, we got other people not our age who are younger who may not have seen Girl Interrupted yet. If you haven't, you got to see it because holy mother, and Brittany Murphy probably in a very dark movie, probably gives the darkest performance. Like, I think she's a contender for darkest performance of Girl Interrupted just because of like the path her character takes and because of the backstory, and the way she played it was haunting. And then you see her in this and she is just like peppy, cheer, like giggly, bubbly, personified, like just this light. This I loved, in this movie, the sequence where they're interviewing them and she's sitting there and she starts talking about how Mike McShane, Harold's son, the one Will Sasso plays. Yeah. She just talks about how his pants are completely off, and we don't see it. We just see him going in the background, and you just hear her in the background going, I can't look at him. And she just keeps laughing, and it doesn't. The camera never goes to her. Yeah. It's just sitting there watching the judges sit there and go, really? Yeah. Like, oh my God.
How much of this movie do you think is improv?
Okay. The writing often is, it's too, people just don't think like that. So I would say maybe 20-25% improv and the rest of it, because some of these things, they have to be preordained, like they have, you know, like yeah, but I think that laugh was certainly like, that's not even like improv. I think that's just letting her go. Like she knows what to do, she does it, and then she just keeps doing it. And it's just like, okay, there's a good director, he knows, just let it play out, you know. What do you think? Do you know better than I do?
No, like I agree with you. Like this dialogue is definitely scripted, but there are moments in the movie, like, and I think just by its very nature that it is like mockumentary style, like it definitely feels like there's a lot of improv just in terms of like what's like the timing of the jokes. Like you're familiar with Curb Your Enthusiasm. That show was mostly improv. Like they had I don't even know if they had a script. Like there was like some semblance of a script, but it was just like sort of ideas of like, this is what this scene is about. And obviously everyone who was on the show was a comedian. So it's just like, you know, do your thing and make it happen. And especially like, you know, that show was on for 11 seasons and like like over the course of 20 years. So like they, you know, were able to find the characters and their groove. But I mean, it was just one of those things where here's the general idea, just go in there and make it up as you go along. And that typically worked for that show. That's like why it kept going. So I definitely think that there's a level of that to this movie. Like there's specific lines that they're like, we have to hit these, but it does feel like, and especially when you're talking about like these moments with like Brittany Murphy, where they're just like, oh, we just held that shot. And like, you know, she just kept laughing or whatever because it felt right in the moment. Because this movie's filled with kind of like not necessarily quiet moments, but just like, but these beats that are just kind of like held for a little bit longer that make it feel like it's not really a movie that you're watching, or even a documentary for that matter. And I forgot I mean, I know the story, but I kind of forgot when things happen or how quickly they happen, because I was shocked to start watching it again last night and see that the movie actually takes a while to get going in terms of the story, like because they're kind of doing like a documentary where there's just sort of like clips of these people and like NPCs and just like nothing that really has anything to do with the plot. Because I remember that, you know, they go through all the contestants and then they get to Tammy Curry. She's the last one. And then we see her driving away on the Thresher and boom, it blows up. And I thought that was like very early in the movie, but it was like probably like, I wasn't keeping track, but it felt like it was like more than 20 minutes in.
Yeah, I'd say about the 25-minute mark.
And that's kind of like the inciting incident. Anyway, that is all we have for you for the free preview. If you guys want to check out the full episode, you can head over to my Patreon, Zack Cherry, ZACKCHERRY, and sign up there at the Freddy Krueger tier. You'll get access to this episode, all the past episodes. What do we got going on next week?
That one with the house and the
house.
Well, the
house.
mansion, not the mansion, the hotel. The hotel. I'm tired. It's The Shining. The
Shining. Yes. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and we will be right back.